All right, sounds good. Well, thank you all for being here today, this afternoon. So today's agenda, we will talk a bit about the annual convening, give you some information about that and how to sign up. We'll also just talk about what the goals and the purpose of data reporting are. Um, I will introduce you to myself and our data team, who is here to support all of you. And I'm going to walk you through the different sections of the data reporting form. So really that is the core part of this training session for us to go through all of the different elements, answer any questions, provide some definitions and how to complete the form. And also to give you an opportunity to answer any questions that you may have, and to give you some office hours that we will be hosting in the next couple of weeks to support all of you in completing the form, and just what is the deadline for completing this form. So excited to get into all of that. But John will start us off with the information here. You're on mute.
Good afternoon. My name is John Leopold. I'm the director of the Central Coast K16 Regional Collaborative, and I want to express my great appreciation for the work that you do every day in your schools, the work that you have done in creating these pathways, and the work that you're going to be doing helping out students over the next year. This data reporting is very critical for us to be able to see what's happening at your site, to be able to tell the story of the collaborative, and to impress upon people about the way in which we can be supporting students throughout our six-county region. We do many meetings on Zoom like today. And we do that because the distance between Santa Cruz and Ventura is great. And this tool allows us to be able to see a lot of people and handle that effectively. But once a year, we actually meet in person. And we this year we're having our annual convening on August 7th, um, at Cuesta College in San Luis Obispo from 10 to 1:30. It is great to be able to share information like we are today on Zoom, but I know that it's even better when we're in the same room and get a chance to talk with each other, meet our colleagues, have a good meal. And this year's convening will include a panel with students, with industry leaders. We will hear from Uplift about what's going on in the economy in our region. We'll be debuting our new student journey maps, and we will be working with West Ed about reflecting about where we've been this past year and where we want to go in the coming year. So on the slide on your screen is a QR code, and you could just take your phone right now um, and use that to sign up and register for the convening. We also have a URL. You can click on that, and I'll put it in the chat as soon as I'm done here. But I'm hoping that you can join us. It is always very powerful to be in the room with such incredible educators and those who are committed to supporting students along the Central Coast. So I hope that I see you on August 7th, and I look forward to continue to working with you in the coming year. Thanks a lot.
All right, well, thank you. So yeah, I really want to center us on really the importance of data collection and this data reporting that we're asking all of you to take part in. It really is important and critical because it allows us to evaluate the effectiveness of our work. So all of the things that all of you have been doing, it highlights, it allows us to reflect on the data in order to identify areas where we can improve, areas that are working really well, in order to identify gaps. And it also is a way to show the state, our funder, what we've been doing and on to be able to highlight all of our progress and really show what we have been doing and the effectiveness of everything that we've been doing so far. So I want to introduce you to our data team. So one of them is myself. My name is Priscilla Fernandez, and my contact information is there. You will also receive it via email. But I am here along with Dr. Lisa Shavak. who we are both here to support all of you, to answer any questions that you may have as you are completing these forms. Okay, so to launch right in, so we want to ensure that this process is as streamlined and as easy as possible for all of you. Our goal is to have all of you complete this information, understand how to do it. We're definitely here to support all of you, no tricking or anything like that. But one thing I want to note here is that the due date. So we do ask that this form be completed by July 23rd at 5 p.m. This also highlights the different sections in the data reporting form. And then I'd like to also point out here that there's a box where you will indicate when your survey has been completed. Now, this is really important for us because it lets us know that you are done. So it triggers a notification for us so that we're not having to reach out to all of you and saying, oh, are you done with your report yet? So yes, definitely ask you to check those boxes. And you'll also see, so the way that this is structured is in Google Sheets. So each institution will receive a personalized Google Sheet for your data only. You'll see different tabs at the bottom of the sheet. So these are the different sections that you will be completing as part of your data reporting. So our hope with this is that it really streamlines the process and allows you to also share these sheets with an internal team if you need support in being able to fill this out. So hopefully it makes it as easy as possible for all of you. So the first section here is some of you were funded in cycle one. So really indicating whether you were funded for which pathway you were funded for. If you were not funded, just indicating that. Also specifying who the contact person is. So maybe this is the PI, maybe it's whoever we would want to reach out to if we have any questions about the form. And then also wanted to point out here that you would be indicating what pathway you requested funding for cycle two. So some of you were only one pathway and some of you were both pathways. Now, if you were only one pathway, then you would only be providing information on that specific pathway. If you were funded for both, then you are providing information about both of the pathways. Now, this first section is really important. So you're indicating which ones are pathway aligned codes. So these are the ones that it should be only the ones that are the codes that were part of the pathway that were funded by the collaborative in cycle two. So what I mean here is that it may be that your institution offers a variety of different courses. Now, if it wasn't part of the pathway that you were funded for, then you wouldn't include it. You're only you're only identifying the specific courses that were funded by the pathway. And you would also select all that apply. So it could be that it was a variety or multiple courses. And also want to note that this is not a comprehensive list. So it may be that there was some code that is not listed here. So please just include it in the space where you're able to here. And so you would select it, for example, if you were funded for the health pathway, you would only select health related courses. If you were funded for engineering and computing, you would only select courses there. And also, if you were funded for cycle one, we provided your cycle one responses lower on the page. So for example, this is an example of what it could look like. So these are all the different engineering and computing courses that you could select. And so for those who participated in cycle one, we did indicate which ones you selected in cycle one. Now, somebody asked a really great question in a previous session of, well, maybe that has changed in cycle two. So you are only going to, we are aiming for consistency. So if it changed since cycle one and now you're moving forward with the specific courses, different set of courses, you would want to do the ones that you know that you're going to want to compare against. So you would select new courses and then keep that consistency through the next reporting period. And let us know if you have any questions about that.
I have a quick question. I'm in Aroma San Juan Unified School District. If I don't see the actual courses listed here,
Mhm.
then what would be my step? We've just
Yes,
started our pathway.
of course.
I'm sorry.
So there's a place here at the very bottom,
Ah, got it. Okay.
and it says, please include any additional course codes. That is the space where you would just add that.
Thank you.
Yeah, absolutely. Okay. So in terms of, so you selected the courses that are specific to your pathway, and now you're going to provide information about course enrollment and pass rate. So again, you're only focusing on the courses you specified in the first section, and you're providing aggregate numbers across these courses. All of these sections have instructions at the very top that are, letting you know that this is only the courses that are part of the pathway that were funded in cycle two. For each of these different outcomes, you're reporting the baseline year. So that was 2023, 2024. You're reporting this last year that just ended, 2024, 2025. And then you also see their target for 2025, 2026. So this is just what you that you're just offering projections, and what you would estimate is completely fine. So it doesn't have to be perfect or anything like that. Also note here that for cycle one participants, the data you provided in the last round of reporting has been added to your specific sheet. So it looks, so yes, it would just be that 2023, 2024 section that would have that information listed there. And if you, for example, need to change that data for any reason, that is completely fine. You would just let us know. So you could see here at the very end of each of the sections, it says, provide any additional information about the data or outcomes reported. That could be a place where you say, oh, we updated 2023, 2024 data. Or it's also an opportunity where you can just give us additional information about the data that you provided. Also, you could see here that the data is, we're asking aggregate numbers, but then you were also asking you to disaggregate against or by a variety of different variables as well. So for example, gender, economically disadvantaged students, and things like that. And you could see here that most of this is asking for unduplicated counts. So there is also a space to add duplicated counts, particularly for for students that passed a C- or better. So really what that means is that it allows those totals to reflect students who participated in multiple courses. So it counts each of the courses a student passes, and those are counted separately. You're also providing your source. So here we provided CalPads as a potential source, but for some of this data, you might have to rely on local or other sources. So just specifying what data source you used, and that could be really helpful as well for the next reporting period to know what was your process. Okay. For our K-8 schools, we also provided this section. So you are able to, if you offer any courses that are relevant to the pathways, there is a section where you can provide some of that data. But if you do not offer any specific pathway courses, there is a space where you can skip this section. So just selecting that at the very top. So for dual enrollment, again, these are just focused on courses in the pathway, not all dual enrollment courses. You're providing aggregate numbers across these courses. Again, if you do not offer that, you can select that at the very top and then just skip this section. But here it's asking the number of dual enrollment courses that are available to students in each of the pathways, the total number of students that participated in these courses, and then there is a space for you to provide unduplicated and duplicated counts for these courses as well.
I have a quick question on dual enrollment. The courses offered at the community college, can we still count that here, or does it have to be offered at our district, at our school site?
If it's offered to your students and it's part of the pathway that you were funded for, then you would still provide that information. Yeah, thank you. Great question. In terms of reporting student outcomes, so each of these different sections also provides instructions as well as definitions. So here, just the number of students that graduated, and then the number of students that completed A through G requirements. So you'll note here that it says the total number of pathway students. So just want to indicate that we know that this number may be small because you're only focusing on pathway students. Now, if, for example, you're not able to disaggregate it or identify those students specifically with your data sets, that is completely fine. You can provide totals, just making sure that you indicate that in that section where I mentioned you're able to elaborate on the data, just to let us know so that we know how to track that in future reporting periods and know that that was where the numbers came from. You're also providing data on FAFSA or DREAM Act applications. So here providing some additional information about that. So here you're providing the total number of students. And here we're just focusing on the baseline year, which is 2023, 2024, and then the current year that just passed, 2024, 2025. There's also a space for you to provide information about CCGI. Now, I know during the last reporting period, there were some institutions that didn't have access to this data quite yet. They hadn't activated their accounts. So just providing additional context for that. But if that data is available now, just inputting that data and also seeing if, for example, it hadn't been active last year or the 2023-2024 year, just noting that, and we can add zeros to that tab there. Yes. So unduplicated counts is not counting a single student more than once. And then the duplicated counts is when students are taking multiple courses, for example, that could be in the pathway. So it might be that a number of the students that are in the pathway don't take more than one course. So those numbers would look the same. But we just want to account for those students by getting the duplicated counts as well. Did that make sense? Okay, thank you. We also, for our K-8 institutions, provided some additional questions about here math and ELA assessments. just being able to provide any additional context that you have about that information. And then also after school programs. So here you're able to select any that apply, but also just elaborating on how these are part of the pathway and what you are currently doing to support these programs. And for K-8 schools specifically, there's also a space where we ask about career exploration. So here, if this is something that was not part of your project, you can skip this tab, but here this gives you an opportunity to really elaborate and provide any details about what these opportunities look like for students, the number of opportunities available, and also here to elaborate on how you've potentially engage families around future college and career pathways. And the last section, or one of the sections here, is also the open-ended responses. So here, this really gives you an opportunity to shine, to really elaborate on all of the things that you have done thus far. So for example, so this is specifically for our county offices. But one of the questions here is really centered around data sharing and what that looks like. How is your office involved in this? Getting more detailed information about that. So this is not relevant to K-12s or K-8s. This is specific for county offices because they're also in the room. Here, just providing more information about collaborations. How has your office supported or planned to support collaboration between institutions? And then technical assistance. So what type of technical assistance or support has your office provided during this reporting period? So for our county offices, you're not providing kind of these more detailed counts. You're providing and elaborating on more of these open-ended responses. Okay, so this is back to our K-12, so this is relevant. So our work-based learning tab. So you're able to select if you did not offer any work-based learning for either pathway, then you would skip this tab. Here we provide just a definition of what that could mean, but you are really the ones who are elaborating on your project. So there will be a space where you can provide more details about what potential work-based learning opportunities you've provided, just the number of opportunities that have been available, and then also a space for just providing more details about the types of work-based learning opportunities that you've offered. So here we really want to know about the specific activities and things like that. Also, if you've partnered with any employers, for example, in providing some of these opportunities, indicating that there as well. And this last section is for everyone, so all of the different institutions. So these are just open-ended responses where you're able to fill out how you plan to distribute and use your grant by June 2026. So here you're providing details about whether you anticipate any changes to the budget and how you plan to distribute your grant. Also, just any key activities or interventions that you've implemented during this reporting period. And really the meat of this section is being able to elaborate on outcomes and accomplishments. So here, we have a space for you, but there is no character limit. We encourage you to be as detailed and as wordy as possible. We really want to hear about everything that you've been accomplishing during this time. So it's giving you an opportunity to really highlight your achievements and accomplishments. And in addition to that, there's also a space for you to elaborate on any lessons learned. So here you can talk about any challenges, any concerns that you have or have encountered, perhaps any plans you have to address them. So again, in this section, really providing as much detail as possible to really give us context about how things have been going with your project. And then the last part of this section is also just a space. Everyone will get this question, but it just provides you the opportunity to give us any feedback, whether it be about data reporting, what was helpful, what did you wish you had, um, anything related to the grant or your projects, anything like that. It's really an opportunity to provide the collaborative with some feedback. And one date to just tag in your calendars in bright letters here. Wednesday, July 23rd at 5 p.m. is the deadline for this data reporting form. So we will send you all that information. But just some tips for completing the form. Really plan ahead, set time aside in your schedule to assemble all of the data that is needed to complete the form. It's quite a bit of data. So really being able to find who your data lead at your institution, and being also mindful that it is summer and people are on vacation, and schedules may be fluctuating. So just being able to contact those individuals as soon as possible is really important. And also, I provided you with definitions, with some context for some of the questions that we are going to be asking of you. But maybe once you actually get in there and look at them, you might be like, wait, what was that definition again? So contacting us, the data team, if you have any of those questions, we will be hosting office hours, 4 of them throughout the next couple of weeks. So you can attend any and all of these sessions. If you have any questions, we're happy to answer and support you. So these are our office hours. So we try to host some in the morning, some in the afternoon. So you will receive this via email as well. So you don't have to memorize it here right now. And this is also my email. So as next steps, you will be receiving the Google form, your personalized Google form via email. We will also send you the office hours where you can attend if you need additional support. You will also be receiving this recording and the slides that I just went over for, if you want to refresh your memory. And yeah, so that is next steps. So we were planning to send them either probably early tomorrow or, but definitely within the next couple days. Thank you for asking that question. But yeah, I just want to open it up to anybody. If anyone has any questions about all the information I just went over.
Um, Priscilla, there are 2 questions in the chat.
Yes, so we answered the unduplicated one, and then the document will be sent in the next couple days.
And it'll be sent to the principal investigator that was listed on the grant application. Are there any other questions? This is a lot of material, and if you haven't done it before, it may seem a little unusual, but this will provide us great baseline information and additional information to see how what the impact has been of your programs.
I had a question. This is Erica Perez Cervantes from VCOE. Since we are the county office, and if I understood correctly, the data that we are providing are all on the open-ended portion of this Google Sheet, correct?
Correct. Yes. So you are receiving an individualized one, and all of your questions are open-ended. And I showed you which one specifically you would be answering.
Perfect. Just wanted to confirm. Thank you.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Any other questions that I can answer while we're all on the line? Everyone's excited. You got it.
They just want to get their forms and start
Yeah, they're
answering the
ready.
questions. Well, we're here to help you collect this information anyway. So if you have questions, if you sit down with this and go, what did she say? You can contact the data team. If they're not available, you can contact your regional coordinator, Ashley Selk or Isaac Castro. If they're not available, you can contact me. We want to help you out. And if you call us and if you call me and I can't help you, I will find you the right person to help because we'd much rather get the information on time and the accurate information and support you. And this will be the kind of data that we'll be requesting twice a year as part of this. The next one will be in January. Any questions? Well, then I want to thank you for your time and being part of this workshop. I want to thank Priscilla and the data team for putting it together, and I appreciate all the hard work that everyone's doing. I hope that you get some time to fill this out and then look forward to seeing you in person on August 7th at Cuesta College for our once a year annual convening. Thanks for being here.
Thank you. Bye.